It's Championship Saturday on FIFA Plus. The 2023 NISA Championship Final brings us to Romeo High School, where the Michigan Stars will try to take back-to-back NISA crowns against the darlings of the NISA postseason, the number 6 seed, Flower City Union. Welcome to the great state of Michigan, everybody. We are so glad you're here. Mason Lowry and Chris Black on the call this afternoon. And how many of you, when you filled out your brackets, had these two teams in the final? Now, the Stars being here, that's not a shock. Obviously, they won it last year, beating Albion San Diego 1-0 in the final. But Flower City Union, who would have expected them to pick off both LA Force and Chattanooga to get here?
Yeah, insert any cliche you want, team of destiny, or whatever you want to call it, making their way through such an improbable postseason run they've had. And at some points in that game against Chattanooga, you assume Chattanooga was going to roll that game, but they could not find the back of the net. Flower City Union put in just a huge shift defensively and in front of their goal mouth to extend that game. And at one point, you're like, Flower City Union's going to walk away with this game. They did, taking it full distance through penalty kicks, but what a fun game to be part of if you're the Flower City Union faithful.
Yeah, Michael Mejia, an outstanding performance in goal for Flower City Union. He has been really good all season long. He'll have to be really good again here today, I'm sure.
Yep, so that's the question. How often can you do it, and can they stay up? And if something doesn't go their way and that back line is penetrated and there's a goal from this Michigan Stars team, how does Flower City Union react? Can they stay positive? Can they keep pushing forward? Or will that creep in, that self-doubt that you don't want to have as a team? Will that affect them? So that's going to be that big question. Who gets on that scoreline first?
Well, Flower City Union opened the postseason with a 4-2 win out in California. Alioune Diakate scoring a brace in the first 7 minutes. And then they went down to Tennessee, and as we talked about, they kept the runaway regular season champs Chattanooga FC off the board for 120 minutes from open play and did not allow them to score either in the penalty shootout. Here are the thoughts of their head coach, Jordan Sullivan. We caught up with him a little while ago. Jordan, appreciate your time. Congratulations on this tremendous run that you've made to get to the final. I want to go back in time a bit to the start of the season. You opened the year with 1 win in your first 7. In your heart of hearts, did you think you'd be here at the end of the year? And how have you guys been able to turn it around?
So for us, obviously, coming into this year, we obviously had a lot of improvement to make from last year. So we brought in a lot of new players. And with 20 new players, it takes time. You know, we needed time to build chemistry and to gel. And obviously, everyone had to figure out what the right combination of guys were. And luckily for us, it's clicked at the right time. And we couldn't be happier to be in the finals.
Yeah, you seem to have found that really good form. And I want to focus on the top end of the pitch and the back of the pitch. Michael Mejia is on some kind of crazy form right now. He was outstanding against Chattanooga in the semifinal. And Alioune Diakate, you've got a guy in him that has been here before. He played in this final last year for Albion San Diego. How much are you guys leaning on those two today?
We're definitely going to lean on them a lot. Obviously, we've got a lot of experience from players that have come in this year that have played in the final last year. So we've obviously got Steve and Kyle also. Mike has, been outstanding for us all year, and Ali's now starting to get some heat and get some goals in him. So, yeah, we're very, very excited what these guys are going to produce in the final.
What sort of match are you expecting from Michigan Stars today, and what is it going to take to beat them and win the championship?
Michigan, they're a great team. They're very, very well coached. They've got a lot of athleticism. They've got some quality. For us, it's going to come down to who's got the more of the individual quality and the individual ability. Both teams are very organised and defend very, very well. It's going to be which person's going to step up in the big moment and capitalise for their team. That's what it's going to come down to today.
I know it's been a really hectic fall for you, not only coaching Flower City Union, but being involved as a college assistant as well and coaching a couple of other youth teams. Have you had the chance, especially on this FCU playoff run, to just kind of reflect on being able to enjoy the ride? How much fun has this been for you?
It's been brilliant. In terms of my coaching career, it's probably been one of my most fulfilling ones so far. The guys that we've brought in have been fantastic. The ownership's been very, very great and supportive. So I'm trying to stay humble, keep my feet on the ground, and not really reflect too much until after today. But as a whole, the whole year has been fantastic, and it's been brilliant to share it with the players, the staff, and also my wife and loved ones. So, yeah, loving every moment.
One last thing, I know there are watch parties going on back in Rochester. Do you have a message for the folks back home?
Thank you for all your support this year. We'll do our best to come home and bring home the championship.
Good luck, Jordan. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
And a very special hello to those watching. Watching from Strangebird in Rochester. That's the site of today's viewing party for Flower City Union fans who were not able to make the trip to Southeast Michigan today. And as I look around the grandstand down below us, I see more than a little bit of lilac. There are plenty of fans that have made the journey. That's awesome to see, and it should be a wonderful occasion for lower league soccer this afternoon.
It's not just a fashion choice that it's in their wardrobe. We have literal Flower City Union scarves in the crowds. That is great to see, either locals that have followed that team or they are traveling well today.
Well, Michigan Stars come in red hot, unbeaten in their last 6 matches, including a thoroughly entertaining 3-2 win in the semifinal over Albion San Diego in a rematch of last year's final. Here are the thoughts of their head coach, Enes Djokovic. Enes, thanks for your time. Another year, Michigan Stars playing for another NISA championship. In what ways has it felt maybe a little bit different for the group second time around?
Well, thanks for having me first. It's been a great pleasure to play second final in a row at home to host the final. The difference is that we went through the rebuild of the squad. We changed a lot of players, and it's not easy from that process to make it a championship team. So we have very young team. We just had one guy who's kind of messing up that average of the age, and that's Artem, and I'm happy to have him. But we have so many young lads. We had some people from last year that they were at this moment in the final. They delivered, but also I think we have with some great adjustments like Hagbin, Koda, and Prosper and Ahmed, which one they deliver. Lately we had Andrew Berman, who helped us a lot. Unfortunately, he's a little bit injured, but we'll see how he's going to perform today.
Yeah, you mentioned a lot of new guys, some familiar faces as well, thinking of players like Anthony Bowie, who scored the winner in the final last year. Obviously, Tatenda Makruva has been here for a very long time. How beneficial is it to have a handful of guys in your starting lineup that have already played in a championship and know what it takes to win?
Well, I think it's all about the chemistry. It all comes from the locker room and how the leaders are leading and how
So out come the teams, and thanks to both coaches for their time this afternoon. I feel like the pressure here is entirely on Michigan Stars. Flower City Union, as Angelo Calfo, one of their really good center backs, puts it, they came into the postseason with the knowledge that nobody expected them to do anything, and they've kind of rallied around the idea. They have played very light, very loose, and it's worked for them.
Yeah, it's how do you start, right? How do you start? Because if both these teams start really well, there's not a lot of pressure on them. But those mistakes, how do they build up on one of these two teams? And expectations are always in comparison. Both those things are the thief of joy, right? So it's living that moment right now. It doesn't matter who won it last year. It doesn't matter how well you've done all season long. You've got 90 minutes, and you hope it's within that 90 to finish it. Let's say more than a few special guests to this championship Saturday.
Kotaro Umeda, the last out for Michigan Stars, the midfield maestro of the defending champions. And it's worth noting that there is a larger than usual crowd for a Michigan Stars home game today. That's because the club announced in the last few days that any club soccer player in the state of Michigan and their families could get in for free this afternoon so that they could see what it takes to be a professional soccer player. A young crowd, a big crowd, hopefully a noisy one.
That's right, just add to the game environment as it is, and the weather's cooperating. No, it is not warm, but it's not really cold, and it is dry. So great situation for these players and the crowd to enjoy this game today.
Yeah, brisk was maybe the word that I would use. So many eyes of those out on the field trained on the championship trophy, what they are playing for here this afternoon. We'll take in the national anthem, made that much more poignant here on Veterans Day.
On this beautiful Veterans Day, as we honor America with the playing of our national anthem.
So just moments away from kickoff now, and let me run you through the two teams, both of whom are unchanged in their starting 11s from their semifinal wins. The Michigan Stars at home trying to win their second consecutive NISA championship. Tatenda Makruva in goal, Prosper Figby, Kotaro Umeda, Leon Marich, second leading scorer in the league, 14 goals, 6 assists on the season, a breakout campaign for him. Jacob Campbell is back healthy. He missed 4 months of the season, did not come back until their trip to Florida in those 2 matches with Club de Leon right at the end of the regular season. Andres Schalbad, Hunter Olsen, who has been a terrific complimentary scorer to Leon Marich this year. Ahmed Shaibu Jr., Garrett Hogbin, and Artem Baranovsky, the 2 center backs, and Anthony Bowie, who of course scored the winner in last year's final. Flower City Union, the man of the moment has been Michael Mejia, their terrific goalkeeper. Kyle Nelson, Josue Cartagena, Angelo Calfo, Logan Lee, Aliun Diakate, their leading scorer with 9 on the season. Luke Ferreira, formerly of Chattanooga FC, has had a really good season, playing a much bigger role, 5 goals and 6 assists on the year. Noah Kavanaugh, Stephen Elias, Mumbi Kwasele, and Matt Bolduc. Noah Kavanaugh is a former Michigan Star. He was with the team at the start of last year. Stephen Elias and Kyle Nelson both played in the final. They joined Michigan Stars from Valley United, who went defunct midway through the year. Elias started that match. Kyle Nelson was a late substitute. And for the Stars, Makruva, Marich, Campbell, Schalbad, and Bowie, all veterans of last year's championship match. We talked to Enes Djokovic, Michigan Stars coach, a little bit about that. There he is, giving a hug to his captain, Tatenda Makruva, who will head out to his goal mouth after a huddle with his team. There is something to be said for having guys that have been there and done that in the past. The Stars with 5 starters who won the championship last year.
Yeah, you think about guys that have the experience of what it took to get there, what it took to stay in that moment. And then you had touched upon it as well with Campbell coming back to the lineup. They also had a lot of similarities of last year with some players out of the lineup for a while, getting fit towards the end of the year. Not totally fit for that Michigan Stars team at this moment, but who is? When you play this long, you're always going to be missing something or somebody's recovering. But so many of those players back into the lineup right before the playoffs that have made a big difference for this Michigan Stars team.
And a bit more attacking edge and verve to the team this year as well. And Flower City Union, well, they've proven so far in the postseason they can win in a couple of different ways. They put 4 past a really good LA Force team in the quarterfinals and then kept Chattanooga reasonably quiet over 2 hours of open play.
Yeah, they spent a lot of goals in that game, but they're probably thinking, all right, it's flowing. We've got goals coming. And they just survived. And isn't that what playoffs are? Survive and move on. But now it's survive, finish your chances when you do get them, and make the most of it. Keep those chances away from this Michigan Stars team.
Alex Hofstetter is our referee. James Dooling and Marcus Barnett, the two ARs. Ryan Homick is the fourth official today. Michigan Stars in solid white. Flower City Union in black and purple. A lot of hopping up and down to try and stay warm on a day in which it is reasonably bright and sunny, but temperatures in the mid-40s. Something that, well, if you spend much time in Metro Detroit or in Western New York, you are very used to.
Yeah, you think about that weather advantage. There really isn't one. You've got two teams that we're expecting to have runs of weather like this at their home fields, whether it be training for games. The players may not be from those areas necessarily, but they knew what they're getting into when they moved there.
The game is on. Flower City Union attacking the goal to our left in this opening half. Michigan Stars moving left to right. Ahmed Shaibu Jr. playing a bit further forward than we were accustomed to seeing, and that was a change that the Stars made before the semifinal against Albion San Diego. He had often been playing as a 6 or as a center back or as a fullback. He was playing the midfielder farthest forward, and that was something that Albion just couldn't deal with. Stephen Elias's ball forward, blocked out by Anthony Bowie for an early throw-in. It's a Flower City Union team that won just one of their first 7 matches. And as Jordan Sullivan, their head coach, pointed out to us when we chatted with him beforehand, it took a while for basically a brand new team to gel. None of their starting 11 from this championship match were regulars in the team last year. And that new philosophy of how to put a team together has paid off for them in a big, big way. That's nifty footwork from Hunter Olsen, and Olsen's in behind. Goes for the early shot, and it's behind for a goal kick. Didn't really have any kind of support. There were a couple of late runs coming, but no chance to check up and try and play anyone in.
Yeah, going to be a low percentage whether he tries to check back up and lay that ball off or take a shot. So why not just have a go?
Michael Mejia bangs it forward. Looking for Kavanaugh, the left back. Big header forward by Prosper Figby. Here's Leon Marich. Shalbot to his right. Touch a bit heavy. Behind for another goal kick. Well, scan that QR code on your screen right now to vote on who will win this 2023 NISA final. Will it be the Stars? Will it be Flower City Union? You can cast your vote thanks to our friends at Question Pro. You can scan that QR code as well for man of the match voting. That will open up in the 70th minute. We'll make an announcement of who's been voted this NISA Finals man of the match in the 85th. So be sure to stay tuned for that and cast your votes. Again, a little over an hour from now in terms of game time, starting in the 70th minute. Well, what are your expectations for today, Chris?
Well, yeah, at this point, you're thinking, and you're already seeing it in the first few seconds, the aggressor so far has been the Michigan Stars, going at it. A couple quick chances, weren't able to do anything with it, but a little bit higher line so far for Michigan Stars, getting quick opportunities. And I'm kind of expecting, Flower City Union, they've done that travel. They've had to do the extra travel. They came in town here yesterday as well. So they've got a little bit of extra travel on the lakes and extra minutes. Slow and methodical might be their way going forward. And so far, that's how they've played in the start of this match, thinking maybe let this game kind of go nice and slow until they're ready to take off.
Yeah, they arrived via minivan yesterday. Some cut through Canada, which cut a couple hours off their journey, I would imagine.
And the nice thing was plenty of layoff between the games. So you do have a little bit of time to recoup. and then kind of plan your travel out accordingly. It's not quite as much pressure of getting in, getting out as quick.
Stars played Saturday afternoon. Back with Kyle Nelson, the former Michigan Star. Flower City Union on shorter rest. Their semifinal down in Tennessee was played on Sunday. Logan Lee to Calfo out on the right. Stephen Elias, it's won back by Campbell. And here's Olsen. He's got 7 goals on the year, scored the third, ultimately the winner in the semi against Albion. Off of Luke Ferreira. And changing the point of attack with Noah Kavanaugh. Really good marauding left back. Ferreira was asked this week about Michigan Stars and what he was expecting from them. He says they're a very good team. They're very physical and very fit. They played at such a high standard all year, but they're on their best run of form ever as a club. 6 in a row unbeaten. That did just run over the line. Artem Baranovsky couldn't get that up the field quickly enough, so a throw in what could be a dangerous area for FCU.
Yeah, Diakite was all over him, not letting him turn. Couldn't go back to Makruva. That touch just heavy to that touch line where he's just going to send it down line.
Here comes Diakite trying to cut in and take a shot. Angle denied. Back with Ferreira. To the outside is Calfo. I think you're right about that kind of methodical build. It might help them keep their legs under them for longer.
And the only thing that could backfire with the Stars line playing a little bit higher so far, and they have a lot of energy in the attack. They have to, if they are going to play slow and methodical, find those areas, which Albion San Diego, they actually got themselves into trouble by doing that too often.
Nice idea to try and release Stephen Elias, but out comes Tatenda Makruva, the former Zimbabwe international goalkeeper. Union find themselves right back in possession, though, after Makruva's ball out. Well, they did concede the opening goal, Michigan Stars, against Albion through Alex DeLue. Then scored the next 3. Here comes Kavanaugh. That pinballs around. It was a good legal challenge, but maybe the Stars can counter here. It's a good save by Calfo. Olsen trying to play in Marich. And that's a Flower City Union throw.
Yeah, Calfo was just in the right place on that passing lane. A big tackle on that ball. You can see Marich holding up his run. That line from Flower City Union was really high. He was trying to stay up. So if Marich makes that run across, he had to hold it, but he was in when he turned that up.
First free kick of the day. Calfo hammers forward, won by Prosper Figby. His fitness has really improved over the course of this season. Would not have imagined back in April or May he'd be going 90 minutes at right back as the year would progress, but here he is.
Yeah, and the backs for Michigan Stars over the years have always been happy going forward and taking chances, getting forward. He's a guy that obviously can do that.
Nelson plays that back to Mejia. Found an outlet in Kavanaugh. Cartagena slices that up in the air. That's won by Campbell, the left back who came central. He clobbers a Flower City Union player. I think that's Ferreira who's down. And the trainer being waved on. He's had a really good season playing alongside Alioune Diakate. They've complemented each other well. He He was the one who talked this week about Michigan Star's physicality, and he was on the receiving end of it right there.
Yeah, right midfield, and just a quick talk the center official had with Campbell afterwards. So if he was able to see anything amiss to it, wasn't that serious on the actual challenge. But the result obviously being a little more serious than the foul.
The available substitutes for Flower City Union today: Gabe Ortiz, John Requejo, Oscar Sanchez, Malik Shahid, and Stewart, and Trevor Wilson, the substitute keeper. Good to see Andrew Berriman back and available for Michigan Stars. He was dealing with a muscle strain, as was Robert Yunchai. They're both back on the bench. Milo Barton, Ezra Brown, Noah Lawrence, and Brandon Roski, two substitute keepers: Niels Lelouch, Nicholas Nicola, and Thomas Pranika. A lot of blankets, lots of hats, lots of layers in the crowd here in Romeo.
I was going to say, appropriately dressed crowd, not for dressed up for the occasion, just dressed out with layers, especially if you're going to be sitting. But glad that many people are able to join us live today, and of course all of you at home or wherever you are. As long as you're not driving, holding the phone in your hand, don't do that. Just listen over your speakers.
Yeah, wherever you may be watching around the world, hopefully you're stationary and safe. So Ferreira will have to go to the sideline, but he was able to get back to his feet on his own power. I imagine he'll be waved on here shortly.
And the sub that was warming up kind of vigorously at first is kind of slowed down, trying to figure out if they need to make a change right away or not.
Hopefully not. You never want to have to use one of your substitutes this early in any match, let alone in the final. And as we say that, Luke Ferreira is waved back on.
We have had our fair share of stoppage time drama at this stadium. Of course, it's first half stoppage time drama, so not nearly as consequential.
Away by Garrett Hogbin. Cartagena. Back to Nelson, and back further still to Mejia. From North Bergen, New Jersey. Two big saves in the penalty shootout against Chattanooga FC in the semis to deny Marcus Nagelstad and Alex McGrath. Chattanooga hitting the crossbar and hitting the post as well, I believe. Unable to score from open play or in the shootout, which is rather bizarre for a team that was so good offensively all season. That's going to go against Shaibu. Down to the corner, knocking out the flag in the process, tussling with Angelo Calfo, former captain at both Gonzaga and to the Portland Timbers under-23s.
Yeah, just Mejia's and the team performance in regulation as well as in overtime. They just must have made that goal feel so small for the Chattanooga players once the penalty started. Yeah, he was just phenomenal in the PK shootout.
Not a great ball out by Mejia. Shalbad tries his luck, but that never had a chance. Worth noting that Flower City Union, if they do beat Michigan Stars to take the championship today, it will be their first ever win over this club. In their previous 6 matches, Michigan Stars with 5 wins, also a goalless draw. Stars have scored 5 against FCU this year, 4 of them coming from Leon Marich. Including both goals. The one time these two teams played here earlier this year. All of those from the penalty spot. Faked the cross, pulled that back to no one in particular. Shaibu picked it up, and this is Bowie. Something he does exceptionally well, breaking forward from midfield, a true box-to-box midfielder. And we'll see our first booking of the day. So that's a marker laid down against Logan Lee. I was thinking about this on the drive up here. You never want to send anybody off in a championship match of any kind. There'll be plenty of yellows, but it's got to be something incredibly egregious for anybody to get tossed.
Oh, he did cross off, I believe, trying to figure out. We saw it looked like it was unrewarded from one and awarded to another. It may have just been a matter of he showed it to the wrong player.
Yeah, it might be Ferreira's yellow card, actually.
Yeah, I think that's what it was in the end. But you've got to appreciate that the official quickly trying to stay on top of it. That's really, he's got to make that call, but then he's quickly checking on the player to see if someone needs to come on for the medical staff, and then also award the yellow.
Flower City Union nearly forcing a turnover in a really dangerous part of the field. This will find Stephen Elias. He has scored 4 and assisted on 4 this year. Trying to score against his former club here in the final. And that's a bit of carelessness from the Stars. Finding Logan Lee. Quesele. Marich pressing high. Throw in for Noah Kavanaugh. Highest with Shaibu Jr. and Olsen not too far behind. Figby an easy aerial win. Bowie. Met by Nelson. Alioune Diakate with Garrett Hogben draped all over. Against LA Force in the quarters. Alioune Diakate, native of Senegal. Well, he had those 2 early goals. Well, that's a nice idea, but didn't quite check up enough for Andres Shalbad's run. He's got 3 goals suddenly on the season, all of them coming in the final third of the year. Is tied for the league assists lead as well with Andrew Wivel of Maryland Bobcats.
And Shalbad, one of those players for the Stars that have moved around the field depending on what other players were available. So a lot of interaction between him and other players positionally in the attack. You'll see often he'll drop in deep, he'll drop into the backside and let someone else make their run off him. It's one of the many things that's allowed Shaibu Jr. to be so high as kind of playing underneath Marich, because those outside players will drop back and defend.
Diakate finds Bolduc. Diakate from the edge of the 18, unable to steady it for a shot. Hogben clears. Shaibu in turn gets clobbered by Cartagena. And he'll get a talking to. And down bottom right of your screen, Alex Hofstetter with a one-sided dialogue with Josue Cartagena of Panorama City, California. Formerly of Chattanooga Red Wolves in USL League One. Will find Marich eventually. Able to peel that away from Cartagena. Has support on the right with Shalbad. Loves to get in crosses from this range. One touch down the line away from Kavanaugh. Delivered near the back post and headed behind by Logan Lee for a corner.
Logan Lee decided. Hey, no joy. We're just going to get this across the end line in case someone's lurking in behind. I don't know if that ball would have been dangerous, but at some point you just got to make a decision and stick with it. clear that out of the area.
Kotaro Umeda will swing this ball in. As always, plenty of big targets to aim at in and around the 6-yard box. Went to the back post. Figby heads that to the penalty spot. Olsen, another corner. That came off of Quisele last, I think. Indeed it did. That may have been headed wide anyway, but you can't be too careful at this stage of the season. Another ball driven in. Flicked header goes wide. And a goal kick this time. That should allow Flower City Union to relieve some pressure. They're coached by Jordan Sullivan. Another look at that flicked header. Played for Hayes and Yetting in non-league soccer in his native England. He's a native of London. Coached in the Queen's Park Rangers Academy. Came to Rochester 6 years ago. It's been a very busy time for him during the Flower City Union season. He is also a men's assistant coach at Nazareth University in Rochester and coaches a couple of youth teams as well. A lot of assistance, I'm sure, from his wife, who is also named Jordan. Flicked over the top, and here comes Leon Marich, the league's second leading scorer. If he can steady this, good intervention by Kyle Nelson, who takes a knock for his trouble. Nelson, one thing we learned about him when he played with Michigan Stars last year, he's got terrific pace, and if anybody on the back line can keep up with a guy like Leon Marich, who's gotten a lot quicker this season, he can.
And, you know, he probably knows a few of the tricks in his bag as well, of knowing what to expect and deal with, which is certainly helpful. Now you can't tell what Kyle Nelson's working through, if that's a stability issue or just cramped up, just with, if he's trying to stretch his calf, or hopefully nothing worse.
Hopefully one of those things he can just run off.
You know, I was going to say, Jordan Sullivan, come on, he doesn't have anything on the Iceland coach years ago that all he did was get to the finals of UEFA. He's a dentist. He gets back. He's refereeing a youth soccer league. All kidding aside, though, but you love when it just all the way in it in soccer at all levels, bringing that to the youth, and such a jump forward he can give those kids anyways, knowing what it takes to get to that next level.
Yeah, so rarely do people that have devoted their lives to this game only do one thing.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm sure he's got more than a big audience watching right now.
Here's Diakate trying to turn from Hogben. He was pulled down. The free kick goes against the Senegalese forward. Off the chest of Leon Marich. Shalbot trying to slice that forward, won by Calfo. Back to Anthony Bowie. Scored the go-ahead goal for the Stars against Albion in the semis, just out of the reach there of Hunter Olsen. Anthony Bowie, that energetic box-to-box midfielder that every really good team needs at least one of.
Yeah, pretty much can bring anything to a game. Will step outside for long throws if he needs to. He's set up goals, got on the end of goals in just this last month, and as the game goes on, he can play somewhere else if needed, probably anywhere. But they're fortunate to have him playing the role he is right now and being able to do that because of the great play on the outside, getting Campbell back on one side.
Oh, that's good from Bowie. Olsen got wiped out. We'll bring this back for a free kick, some 30 yards away from goal.
And really no fight was put up for an advantage or anything like that, so you wonder if Marich was going to be offside or they just assumed he wasn't going to get there.
So Campbell and Umeda over this free kick. A jumble of players at the edge of the 18. Leon Marich isn't one of them. He was across the box. Might find Figby. Oh, he couldn't make contact.
Oh, defender's dream right there. Ball sitting down right at your feet. Not a great run in, just a little bit too far.
Maybe a bit alarming from Flower City Union's point of view. The fact that nobody really picked him up in that big group of players.
Yeah, it's not like he was just out wide either. He was near enough, central enough, you'd imagine. That's not a zonal thing at that point.
That'll go to Flower City Union right on halfway. There haven't been very many chances just yet. That last little half chance from Figby was about as good as it's gotten for the Stars to this point. Makruva comes to the edge of the box. Andres Shalbad's in space. Shaibu's up there as he stayed on side. Can he keep this from running behind? No, he was offside in the first place. Not by much, though. It has been enjoyable to watch the growth of this Michigan Stars team from last year to this year. Some continuity in terms of the playing staff, but really there's been more of an emphasis this year on attacking play. Last year they were really airtight at the back. This year a little bit less so, but they've made up for that by being a lot more fluid getting forward.
Yeah, a couple of center backs change as well, and then I had the good fortune to talk to Ennis before the game as well. Off camera, and he's talking about his style bringing to it as a goalkeeper background, building out of the back is much more what he's used to seeing anyways. He's behind it when he played, so you often will see a lot of the goalkeepers kind of push that as they get into a higher levels of coaching, more team coaching or head coaches. You'll see them be more comfortable building out of the back. What did they like as a goalkeeper and dealing with that pressure and being okay with it? And the more you can possess at the back and build out of it, of course, your full change of play, full field just completely changes, and you start getting some straight direct shots opened up from here and there just because you're pulling that pressure forwards toward yourself.
Mejia bashes upfield. Hasn't had a save to make just yet, nor has Makruva. Calfo along the deck. That missed the mark, picked up by Umeda. And he can try and dart into space. He's upended in the center circle, wins a free kick.
Yeah, Catania, you know, he's got a point right there. That was a little easy, it went down, but officials decide there's enough contact.
I've got so many players that put themselves in position to get fouled a lot.
That's it right there, right? Take that touch. It made us split those defenders, probably hoping he could get fouled, and it worked.
Just skipped away from Shalbot. That'll be a goal kick. Probably trying a little flick of the heel to maybe put that out for a throw-in instead so they could try and pen Flower City Union back awfully deep. 28th minute. Scoreless in this 2023 NISA Championship Final. Mason Lowry and Chris Black. Wonderful to have you here on a beautiful, albeit chilly, Saturday in Southeast Michigan. Umeda held off on the challenge. He would have climbed all over the back of Luke Ferreira. Only Marich up there. It's a good play by Shaibu, and a neat little touch as well for Bowie. Doesn't come to anything, though. Diakate was out-muscled by Hogben that time. Flower City Union throw-in. Ferreira on the turn to Calfo. Ferreira kept his run going. Umeda's there with him. Karam's off of Umeda. Olsen picked it up. The visitors, though, back in possession. Kavanaugh through the middle, that popped up in the air on him, and he spun Ahmed Shaibu Jr. down to the turf.
Yeah, and that might just been more about where his hand was than the force he actually put into it.
That swept forward. Nicely done. Keeper had to stay on his line. I think he always knew that was going to spin away from Shalbad. Knew he'd have no chance to get across it. "16 minutes plus time added on remaining in this opening half. Can either side find a breakthrough? The Stars have had more of the meaningful possession, I would say, but as ever, this Flower City Union backline awfully tough to break down. They bent a bit, you could probably call it fair to say, against Chattanooga FC, but did not concede. Mejia was very, very good, obviously, and they were so well organized at the back. Figby standing his ground, gives a free kick away. Moby Quiselli is furious. I wonder if the Stars will get away without a booking here. That's what he's so annoyed about.
Still pleading his case to the AR on the near side.
That will fall on deaf ears. Ferreira, good switch, hangs up there for a while. The feet of Elias and back to Calfo. Quiselli for Kavanaugh.
Yeah, Quiselli was calling for that ball earlier. Finally gets it. Stars were pressured off to his side too much. Wasn't able to do much with it.
Will go against Shalbad, who caught Ferreira right in the face. And Umeda comes over to try and corral Shalbad, like, let it go. That's a couple of times that Luke Ferreira in this first half has taken a shot above the neck, let's say. One getting clobbered from behind by Jacob Campbell, and now a shot to the nose from Shalbad. You had mentioned this earlier, the ways that Andres Shalbad has been moved around positionally for Michigan Stars this year. It helps having Campbell back because he can play a bit further up the pitch and on his natural side.
Yep, yeah, absolutely. And then you've got a guy now that's just as happy running on the end of a ball as he is pinching in, defending, and then rebuilding.
Makruva, confidence in traffic.
I think we'll just have a restart there on Makruva was putting the ball away, and Flower City Union player just cut in front of him. Can't imagine it'd be a booking or anything like that. I think that was just more of a retreating and got caught with the ball.
We've seen that happen a couple of times this year.
Which Makruva likes to go fast, and we've seen him take some risk on distribution. But he's just so good with his feet and confident. He tries to go quick right there, and just someone's in his path. Made no card, just start over. I'm actually surprised there's not a drop ball back to him, but I think he's happy playing it from the ground anyways.
Diakate went shoulder first into Hogman. Calfo forced backwards. It's good harrying by the Stars. Calfo's thumping header. Watched over the line by Olsen, and Diakate dragged a Stars player down on the track. That's Campbell.
You're in front of a center, an AR, and a fourth official. There's going to be a card coming out for it, but you figure between 3 sets of eyes right there that really matter, there's about 30 sets of eyes over there that don't matter as far as what the ruling is going to be. But you've got 3 sets of eyes there. You'd imagine they get this right.
I don't think that's something that Aliun Diakate was trying to do. But it's a yellow card all the same. So interestingly, we've had 2 yellow cards in the first 34 minutes. Both to Flower City Union forwards. Oftentimes you're thinking guys that play at the back or that do the dirty work in the midfield, not the guys that put the ball in the back of the net.
I mean, if I'm a coach for a team, I'd rather my forwards get the yellow cards early because you're not going to take that tactical foul later. However, that is kind of surprising, but you may give him some credit there. I mean,
Shalbot clears. Just skim the top of Noah Kavanaugh's head. Not for a Stars throw-in. That just clipped Anthony Bowie. Unable to send him on his way. Maybe Elias can initiate something for Flower City Union. Played some games under the name Salt City Union this season in the Syracuse area. Part of that merger between Flower City Union and Syracuse Pulse. McCruve out just ahead of Diakate and Baranovsky. Oh, that was so close to being really, really effective. Olsen tried to head that into the path of Shaibu. Bolduc circling for Flower City Union. Good run from Ferreira. Can he pull this back? It's put behind for a corner. Hogman got in the way, and all-NISA performer last year for Cal United Strikers. It's been a really good addition to the team this year. Michigan Stars losing some really good center backs from last year in Matt Constant and Vasilio Zogos. Took a little bit of time for Hogman and Baranovsky to gel, but by and large, they've had a really good year.
Yeah, Diakate just giving them all sorts of stress, kind of balancing between the 2 of them so far today. Dealt with them well, though.
Kavanaugh's corner. Shaibu headed straight down. Olsen's clearance. Marich is up there.
Not easy. Quisele having to deal with Marich loitering coming towards him. Just easily picks up just a flick head right to his teammate and then drops back underneath.
Ferreira able to shake loose. Mukruva out at the edge of his 18, and he dropped that before his body took him over the line. That could have been a mess. That's a good challenge by Bowie, taking out Elias. Had to get that exactly right. Anytime you leave your feet in that area of the field, you're sort of asking for trouble, but he did it about as well as could be expected. Campbell and I think that's Lee over there that came together at the touch line between the benches.
And McCruva always comfortable off his line. You imagine of so many keepers that we've seen, someone off their line close to that box, that's a guy you imagine being there in that situation because he's there so often, but also someone you assume knows where he is. Smartly just drops it down as he starts to carry across that line. It's got to be that full ball has to leave outside the box, that kind of that plane of the outer edge of that line. Full ball has to be passed before it's called. The AR was still trying to get back to that position. more than likely had a good idea of where he was, though. You saw the center official take a quick look at the AR, nothing amiss between the two of them. So off they went.
Looking around and seeing some of the purple hats and purple sweatshirts. Many, I'm sure, belong to Flower City Union, but I did see one Oakland County FC scarf playing USL League 2. That's the former club of Michigan Stars Hunter Olsen. Free kick forward from FCU. Makruva and Nelson got in each other's way. Free kick goes against the visitors. Makruva, so adept so often at playing out from the back, but Flower City Union back in possession. Cartagena being bothered by Ahmed Shaibu Jr. The whistle goes against him. They've really grown into the half, Flower City Union. They have been, I think, the better team the last 10 minutes or so. The more likely to score, for sure.
Yeah, it really just seems slow, methodical restarts, as it should be anyways for a team that's played the way they have the last couple rounds.
Ooh, Ferreira takes a swing from the edge of the box, but right at Tatenda Makruva. As the clock ticks into the 42nd minute, we have our first shot on target. Maybe followed by another. Great initial touch by Hunter Olsen at the other end. That ran over the line. I think he lost track of where he was on the field.
Yeah, and he's watching Bowie's run. Bowie just kind of drifted just for a touch offside. And what if that kind of took Olsen's timing off, and of course a little bit of a crown to this field as it is. Just rolled wide.
Marich with a good initial touch. Really initiates so much of the Michigan Stars attack. Stumbles, free kick given his way.
Stephen Elias kind of turned around and couldn't really tell, obviously, from my distance, but I've got to imagine there was a frustration turning around thinking, okay, that was a little soft with the way Marich went down. And Marich did a good job of digging the ball out. Was dispossessed for just a moment, dug the ball out, got forward again. In a dangerous place because we're just off the center. So you're able to drop the ball in a little bit easier to the far bar if you want to. They'll have runners over there, or just as easily have a go at goal. You're far enough away to get a ball up and down, or get a ball kind of around and back around that wall. As we are now, you've got one Stars player kind of lining up well offside, and they'll probably readjust right before the kick.
Off the training ground, that's a nice try. The touch on from Bowie wasn't quite as precise as it needed to be. Looking for Campbell's run up there. They do get a throw in out of it, though. Taken quickly. Baranovsky stayed up. Nice ball for Umeda. Oh, that would have been his first goal of the season, and what a time to score it in the final. Couldn't find the near post, however. Still 0-0.
Quick heads-up restart right there, and just what a quality touch to put that ball in a dangerous location. He was pretty much just stuck where he is. If that's on frame, he can just react. Not a lot of time for him to build and plant and push off.
So now Flower City Union will have a free kick.
Campbell didn't go straight up. Went into the ball a little bit, and that's, I think, his warning for his second foul.
Yeah, out of view. The referee put up an index finger in his direction and then said, no more. Next one, you're going in the book. No Michigan Stars have been carded in this first half.
And Campbell in that collision with Ferraro earlier, if my memory serves me correctly, or Ferrera, but nothing awarded at that point.
Figby thumps the header away. Ferrera darting forward, but ran into too many Michigan Stars. Nelson rescued possession, but not for long.
Hunter Olsen was asking for a ball wide. He was over on this near side as Schaubad was still building out. Figby waited. In the end, ends up just winning a throw-in for it. Stars showing some ideas to try to play a little bit more direct. You've got runners making the effort. Hunter Olsen coming to this side of the field, putting Marriage to the far side. Just changing the point of attack a little bit where they want that ball.
4 minutes of first half stoppage time. Can either side make them count? Another throw in for FCU. Ooh, that's given away cheaply. Elias lost his footing, fortunately for the Stars. And Olsen, poor ball, right at Mejia. Had a couple of options, Marich, and then if you wanted to try for the switch, Schaubad out on the right.
At this point, he was just trying to make sure the Stars also had a shot on target before second half. So that's about all they got out of that. We talked about the Stars having a lot more runs in deep, looking like they might go a little more direct from time to time. That ball must have gotten away from them.
Diakate not able to turn away from Umeda. They still defend in numbers so well. Bowie climbing up for that. Cartagena won it in the air. Good layoff. Ferrera to Lee. Elias is out there on the right. There's the deep cross behind everybody. Drops to Bolduc. Can he shake loose for the shot? Unable to. Repelled by the Stars. Cavanaugh finds Cartagena. Work back to Calfo. Flower City Union probing for the opener midway through the first half stoppage time. That missed the mark. Can the Stars create something right before the break? Was won back well by FCU. Left Schaubad down on the deck. Very few openings for either side. Baldock stayed on side here, timed his run well. Here's Diakate in the box, trying to find room for the shot. That's deflected away. Only Marich up there. He's been awfully isolated in this first half for the Stars. Testament to the defensive job Flower City Union has done. Here's Diakate back to Lee. No angle for the shot. So many white shirts around him. Back to Cartagena. He'll line one up. Takes a big deflection off of Shaibu. And caught by Tatenda Makruva. As a team, they are comfortable building from the back, Michigan Stars. Couldn't hit that high enough to release Campbell, who got up ahead and now retreats to his left back position. Looking for Diakate. Baranovsky won it in the air. He'll go back to his keeper. The press came from Cartagena. Here's Diakate. Diakate over the top. Now the final kick of the first half, Flower City Union nearly opened the scoring.
Yeah, you're thinking so much time in that back line with Michigan Stars, that last minute of stoppage time, Flower City Union, what an opportunity. Nothing to show for it except for probably some nerves going into the locker room for the Michigan Stars.
So the first 45 in the books of the 2023 NISA Championship Final. No score between Michigan Stars and Flower City Union on FIFA Plus.
Steven, welcome to Rijeka. What are your first impressions of the club and the city?
Obviously, thank you for welcoming me. The club is it's a dream come true. Ever since I was a little kid, I always thought about playing in Rijeka. I just never knew it would become a reality. As for the city, it's beautiful. It's by the coast, and it's a little different from what I'm used to, but it looks beautiful.
How come that you fell in love with club in Rijeka from far away in Michigan?
So my father's from Montenegro, and he grew up watching the Yugoslavian League, and I just we always knew about the Croatian teams, and Rijeka was one of them. And I remember when I was a little kid, I was always obsessed with Rijeka because it was a soccer team by the water, and I was, like I told my dad, I was like, my gosh, just imagine playing there one day. It's amazing.
you follow the Croatian league? And what do you know about Croatian football in total?
I follow the Croatian league. The football here is, I feel, very technical and tactical. It's a very great league to develop very great players. As you know, there's many players that had previous experience in the Croatian league. They are some of the best players in the world. And I think the Croatian league is a very, very, very good league, in my opinion. What people say, I think it's definitely top 10 leagues in the world.
How did your career go so far? You played in the States, you played in Europe.
So I started in the States. I played for some of good academies all across US. And when I was very young, I decided to take a leap and go play in Europe. And I played in Europe in a few years, but I was a little bit homesick because I went there very young, and I decided to come back to the States, and I played professionally in the States as well. And last year I tried again to go play in Europe, and I ended up in First Division Slovenia, and now I'm here.
What are your personal expectations in the Rijeka jersey?
To give 100% on and off the field. I know Rijeka is a very great club with great fans, and I will try my best to every day to appreciate the opportunity that I have, because I know millions of people want to be in my position that I am. I will also try to be an example to many people in like the youth, because they're our next generation, and to represent Rijeka great in front of the millions of people back home in the United States, to put them on the map.
What position do you play, and do you have your football idols on your position?
I play as a winger, and I'm very versatile. I'm very good 1v1. Like I said, though, I'm here for the club, and whatever the coaching staff or whatever anybody needs of me, I will do my best. And like I said, my first expectation is for what's best for the club, and then everything else comes after that.
Steven, welcome to Rijeka, and we wish you the best of luck.
Thank you very much.
Well, we're enjoying the beautiful day here in Romeo, the 2023 NISA Championship final goalless between Michigan Stars and Flower City Union. The commissioner is with me, John Prooch.
Hi,
welcome.
how you doing?
I'm wonderful. How are you?
I'm doing great.
Welcome back to Romeo.
2 years in a row. My God, right? And beautiful weather, too.
We're nearing the end of yet another NISA season. As commissioner, how would you assess this year for the league?
We've had our challenges, and I'll focus on that for a second, and that is we really had to play cross-country all year, right? I mean, the travel schedules were unbelievable for our clubs, tough on the players, it's really tough on the budgets. And so next year we're going to 2 conferences, West and East. We'll have enough clubs to be able to do that, so it'll take a lot of stress off the clubs financially as well as stress off the players. But if I could, what's really exciting are the playoffs this year, right? Holy moly, right? Flower City, look what they did last year. This year, they squeak in 6th seed. They go out and shock LA. Then they go down and obviously shock Chattanooga, who I am probably pretty sure they thought they were going to host the championship.
I think you're probably right.
Yeah. And now here we are, and they're holding their own, right? It's amazing. But this is a great game. It's 2 high-quality clubs, great leadership from both clubs, both in the coaches as well as ownership. So it couldn't have worked out better. It's great.
I have to think this run that Flower City Union has made as commissioner, it's exactly what you want to see. This is a team that in their first year in the league really struggled, negative 44 goal differential, I think it was, to do a complete 180 really in terms of their playing staff this year to peak at the right time. It says a lot of good things about the strength and depth and quality in this league.
So some of the more successful NISA clubs historically have been amateur clubs for a long time, and then they make the jump, right? So it's an easier process. Flower City started from scratch, and they found out how difficult it can be. But they also have set the path and shown other people, if you want to start from scratch, right, to do this professionally, you have to have patience, right, because that first year is going to be tough. You look at the 3 clubs that came into our league this year, they're at the bottom of the table. It is always hard. It's a big step for these clubs. But Jimmy and Jim Smith at Flower City have shown the way, right, of how to do that. They got a good coach. They knew what kind of system they wanted to build and the character of the players, and they've done that, and they've shown it. Second half of this year, they really put it together.
You mentioned the two-conference system that NISA will be going with next year, and that dovetails nicely into 2024 is going to be a really interesting year for this league. How is the playing roster taking shape in terms of how many clubs do you expect to be in the league next year? How do you expect the divisions to be divided? How far along is that process?
We're fairly far along. We're going to have our AGM in 3 weeks in California, and the board will make a final decision on exactly what teams and which conference. But I think we'll be able to play pretty extensively just in conference with maybe 1 or 2 cross-country trips a year. So it'll take a lot of stress off our clubs.
Absolutely. You mentioned the finances at this level. It has been such a strain on everybody having to fly, in some cases, from Rochester, New York, out to Los Angeles. It should allay some of those fears about, frankly, the league maybe not being sustainable for that much longer. I feel like this is a great step in the right direction.
Yeah, we do too. We knew we had to get there. We knew this year, going into this year, our board knew it was going to be a challenging year because just having the 2 clubs on the West Coast. And so we knew that we had to fill the gap, right? And we had a lot of clubs that were sitting there waiting to come back, right, or waiting to come in. 2 of our old clubs have already been announced coming back, one in Phoenix and Cal United in California. And they're both under new ownership, but same management teams, right? And so I think I'm excited. Let me correct that. It's not the same management team in the Phoenix situation, same ownership, different ownership at Cal United, but same management team. I think it's exciting for the league to see those guys take a break, come back, right? And I think we're going to see some more of that, right? And so one thing that we when a team needs us to take a breath, we don't tell them goodbye. Sure. We say take a year and then come back, and that's what's happening. So we're excited about that.
What lessons do you think have been learned by the league these last few years?
Oh boy, it's hard. Right, you have to be patient. As owners and as board members and as commissioner, you have to be patient. You have to instill the discipline, but be patient because it takes time. You don't have success that Michigan has here, and you don't get that overnight. It takes time. It takes a build. And the owners have to be patient. The coaches have to be patient. It's a tough league, right? These kids are trying to get someplace, right? So, and the intensity, as you can see on the pitch, is there, right? And so you just have to have that patience. But at the same time, maintain the disciplines that you have to get there. So,
Commissioner John Pruch, thank you so much for your time. We're going to head back up to the booth, and should be a fun second half, I'm sure.
It'll be a great second half. Thank you. It was good talking.
You as well. Be back with you in just a few moments on FIFA Plus, goalless in the NISA Championship between Michigan Stars and Flower City Union. back up here in the booth and ready for the start of the second half. Goalless between Michigan Stars and Flower City Union. Thanks to Commissioner John Pruch for joining us at halftime. Interesting to hear him say a two-conference format coming next year in NISA, which should significantly lower travel costs for teams on the East Coast and West Coast. Going to be interesting to follow next year. I do wonder just how much money that is going to save a lot of clubs. I have a feeling it's a substantial amount. Back underway, Michigan Stars in white, Flower City Union in black and purple. Mason Lowry, Chris Black, all of our crew. What are you looking for second half as Michigan Stars have an early free kick?
Yeah, what adjustments will be made? Because you saw how many times, like on the Stars side of things, they're looking for that direct ball. It wasn't quite there. Balls were running a little bit. So was that more having to do with what Flower City Union was doing compared to what the Stars were attempting to do? And that Flower City Union, who started off kind of slow, methodically, they started to really push. They were the aggressor towards the end of that first half. Do they keep that push up through this whole half? Because it almost ended with a goal for them with a lot of opportunities as that first half closed out. But you imagine the Michigan Stars team maybe not quite as happy with again, not getting those direct balls. Do they start to build a little bit more come to the second half?
Early free kick comes to nothing for the Stars.
Another thing to watch will be if the yellow cards become an issue in the second half. Really, for the Stars side, all we got to is that the finger wagging at Campbell. He didn't get the yellow card for it. I mean, it's not like it was a Dikembe Mutombo finger wagging, so really don't take it too seriously.
Seriously enough, that throw-in will go Flower City Union's way.
And that was about the most excited I've seen a team for a throw-in in a while. I mean, Flower City Union was excited for that.
Trying to play in Hunter Olsen on the left. Slid out for a throw-in by Angelo Calfo. Campbell and Bowie each adept at long throw-ins. Campbell, with him being available again after being out injured for a long time, will serve this in. So often you try and find somebody at the near post to flick it on.
I think that was Logan Lee slowly getting up off the deck. And that was going to be a discussion.
Lee and Shaibu. Shaibu a head taller than Lee. Leola 5'8". That is sent to the near post. Diving header, knocked down, out to the edge of the 18. Campbell couldn't arrive in time. Cleared away by FCU. Makruva, a long way out of his goal. Will serve this forward, looking for Marich. Bounces 5 yards beyond him. Hooked up field by Flower City Union. Makruva is still out, but nobody will get close enough to it in black to make him pay for it. Though he'll have to retreat to his line now. Elias won the header. Here's Matt Baldock, formerly of Richmond Kickers in USL. Played close to 100 times for them over 6 seasons. Yeah, that's going to go against Shaibu on Logan Lee.
That's one of those fouls that if Flower City Union maintains easy possession, no big deal. It's not going to, that call is obviously not going to be made. But pulling Logan Lee back like that definitely took away any advantage that Flower City Union had to possess that ball.
Not really a surprise that this game has been far less open than the semifinal we saw here a week ago. Campbell back covering. This will come back for a free kick, though, right on halfway. Once there was no longer an advantage, the whistle came.
Remember, one of the knocks that you'd consistently hear about Michigan Stars last year was some people say boring or unattractive soccer, and it's like, oh, by the way, they are winning, and they went all the way through and won the final. It wasn't open, a little bit more open this year, but you would imagine they're going to be a little bit more conservative in their play, and they're going to take their shots downfield when it's on. But this Flower City Union side, yes, their last game was zeros, but the 4-goal outburst against LA Force, I mean, that doesn't happen that often in this league at any time of the year, let alone in a final. You'd expect that not to happen again.
Last year's final ended 1-0. Olsen clipping that over the line.
If you're a betting person and going to this game with an over-under, would it be at 1, you're thinking, ooh, that's high.
Elias was penned in. Hogman trying to take the right angle to cut off Diakate, unable to do so. Alioune Diakate peeling away from him. Really good tackle by Campbell going to ground. He had to get that exactly right, and he did. It's a corner.
Yeah, you know, and you watch that build-up. Diakate got away with a lot of holding on Hogman. And you've got to imagine that's why when he did win the ball and got free a little bit, nothing was called on the early kind of holds back and forth. Then obviously that play to ground, that would have been something completely different if the ball wasn't played, and instead Diakate was.
Noah Kavanaugh serves this in. Away by the Stars to the edge of the 18. Baldock trying to shoot through traffic, repelled by the defending champions.
Ooh, I think Marich had a point there.
Yeah, that came up and hit the arm of Logan Lee. There's the cross, caught by Makruva. Unable to do what he really likes to do, and that is distribute the ball upfield quickly. They'll have to build instead. Well played to Campbell on another one of his marauding runs forward. That's good, though a bit behind Marich. Couldn't take the touch that he really needed. Advantage will be played. He left one in there on Kyle Nelson and his Diakate to the other end. 3 Stars defenders back with him. There's a run being made to the edge of the 18. Diakate trying to find shooting space. Baldock through traffic. It trickles in. Flower City Union has the lead. Well, they've already upset the 3 and 1 seeds in the NISA tournament. Is another shock on the cards here in Romeo. The USL League One veteran Matt Baldock with his 4th goal of the season, and FCU, the number 6 seed, go 1-0 in front.
And that ball was played in behind Baldock a little bit. He had to come back to it, and I think that actually ended up helping Flower City Union, because then that ended up having Michigan Stars players overcommitting, and then on that shot, a little bit of redirect. Ends up behind Makruva and painfully slow as that ball rolls across the goal line. No one from the Stars is able to get to it. But what a commitment going forward. Great advantage call by the official earlier. So many times going forward to let this game stay open. And you think as the game stays open, more things like that happen and more guys are committing forward.
Well, that really changes things. Of course, the Stars came back from a goal down to beat Albion in the semis. That goal coming in the opening stages, and then the Stars scoring 2 in 3 minutes. Header from Leon Marich to Ahmed Shaibu Jr. Lines one up. That's blocked. Hit sideways by Kyle Nelson. Yeah, went down too easy there. That was Shalbot. Thomas Pranika will come in. He's got plenty of pace in wide areas. You can use him centrally as well. I wonder if it might be Shaibu coming off. Here's Olsen. Bowie loves to score in the playoffs, though pulls that one wide. No deflection, just a goal kick. And it's Prosper Figby, the right back, who makes way. And that then, I would think, Shalbad back to right back and Pranika further forward.
And Figby had been fighting off a leg injury earlier in the playoffs. Just right toward the end of the regular season, starting into playoffs. And you wonder if that figures into it or just a little bit of a shift of what they're going to try to accomplish.
Flower City goal scored in the 53rd minute by the 32 Matt Bolden.
Campbell keeps his run going. Pernico with his first touch to pop it up into the air. Sliced out for a throw-in. .53rd minute goal from Matt Bolduc. Puts Flower City Union in front. Oh boy, and Diakate almost forcing a terrible turnover from Makruva. Stars got away with it though. And free kick, I think this is to Flower City Union. I have a feeling that goal from Bolduc has flipped the Who Will Win poll brought to us by our friends at Question Pro. Be able to vote on man of the match as well before too long. Here's Stephen Elias. Flower City Union, they go looking for a second. That's sent to the back post. That was a really good ball, all things considered. Caught by Makruva, however. Lee's header forward. Bolduc left the ball behind. Bowie is cleared out. And that's a yellow card to Logan Lee. That was a nasty one.
Yeah, deserved card on that, but the frustration immediately from the Stars, Leon Marich was wide and had a whole lot of space. Stars were hoping for a little bit of advantage. I was talking earlier about the play being a little more wide open as advantage was getting called and people kind of finishing out plays, but that one called back a little early maybe before things could have developed. You certainly understand wanting to get the yellow card out quickly though to make sure people understood, but you can always award those later. You see what the foul led to right there. Obviously less opportunistic than what they had building.
That's off of Campbell. Tough break for the Stars. Goal kick for Flower City Union. Who only won twice in the league all of last year. And if they could hang on and win the final here, this will be 3 wins in the last couple of weeks. After winning just one of their first 7 for the season. Diakate coming back for that. There's Ferreira. Header to Stephen Elias. Bolduc has ghosted in. Stayed onside. Negative ball back to Ferreira. Ferreira's cross over Kavanaugh. Will find Diakate. Headed right back his way. There's the shot. Pushed away by Makruva, and he'll pounce on it. Right in front of Kavanaugh. That was hit with some real venom from Alioune Diakate. Last year's Golden Boot runner-up. Mejia came out well. Osway Cartagena picked that up. Not content to just settle for 1, Flower City Union. Very little space for Olsen. Picks out Umeda. His first year with the club. Nice turn, and he's got pace to come forward. He'll keep his run going too. Olsen out on the left. Back with Bowie. Thought he might take a shot from range. Instead plays it wide for Shaibu. There's the cross. Marich. Goal kick. They have yet to really test Michael Mejia.
It was almost tongue-in-cheek on my part. late in the first half when they just lofted one in, pretty much a ball being played in long that Mejia actually had to deal with under zero pressure. I mean, that being the best chance on frame is not really a good sign for your opportunities to finish. I mean, it only takes one, but they want those opportunities to end up with something a little better than something harmlessly going out of bounds.
That's a free kick. Diakate wiped out. Half hour left in the second half. And it's a second half that really has been controlled by Flower City Union.
Yeah, pretty much started as the first half ended. Most opportunities built by Flower City Union. The pace being set by them. And obviously now being in the lead gives them some time to be even more poignant about every set piece restart.
Olsen got that exactly right. Here's Marich holding it up. Olsen through the middle now. Played back to Shalbot further forward. Bowie. Nothing on ahead. Has to go backwards for Shaibu. Shalbot first touch was just a little heavy. Slid out by Angelo Calfo for the throw-in. Long throw-in opportunity for Anthony Bowie, his first of the day. That's a hold of the jersey against, well, Michigan Stars, and Leon Marich just talked himself into a booking. Cannot afford to lose your head at this stage of the season.
And Marich, a physical player in his own right anyway, so now he's got less than 30 minutes in regulation to stay out of a second booking.
Artem Baranovsky heads down in his 17th professional season, 33 years old, native of Ukraine. He's played all of his career in either Ukraine or in Central Asia. In Uzbekistan, Tajikistan, Kazakhstan. Played in the 2017 AFC Cup final, in fact. Here's Hunter Olsen. Campbell, that's behind Marich. Hogman center to Thomas Pranika. Been a good midseason addition for the Stars. A weapon with his pace coming off the bench. From Chicago, moved to Poland at age 15 to embark on a professional career, and now back stateside. That's Shalbot up there. It stayed on side, circling and probing just behind Marich. Elias with great pace and balance as the bodies hit the deck. Campbell went down in the center circle. Flower City Union throw in. Aliun Diakate. Not that far away from scoring a second. Kavanaugh's cross blocked behind for a corner. Enis Djokovic was in a really jovial mood when we caught up with him before kickoff. so proud of this group. It is a largely new playing staff from last year. 5 of the starting 11 were regulars in the team last year. More continuity than Flower City Union had. None of their regulars this year were regulars last year. Much too deep. Almost went out for a throw-in across the way instead of a goal kick.
Yeah, it's not often you see shots or corner kicks go out for throw-ins, but that was dangerously close. You figure if there's some sort of internal kangaroo court on the Flower City Union side, they're not even sure what the punishment would be for that.
That's out for a throw. Under a bit of pressure was Makruva. Olsen did very, very well for himself, and here's Marich on the turn, trying to sweep that forward. Had 2 runners on the right. Critical intervention by Mumbi Kwesele. Kavanaugh darting in. Back to Nelson. Calfo for Baldock, the goal scorer. Just trickled over the line. Doesn't matter how it goes in, it matters that it goes in.
Ooh.
And in a game that has really been lacking in terms of shots on target, they made 1 count. In the cold here in Romeo.
That last throw, and I think Stars might have stolen one there. I think it might have been touched by Stars player last second before it crossed that line.
Well, that's a good ball. Shalbut trying to knock that into space for himself, but too close to Mejia. Wanted some movement upfield, didn't really get it. Logbin center. Elias got there first. Stars have made 1 substitution. That was Pernica coming in for Prosper Figby. Flower City Union yet to go to their bench. They only made 1 change in the semifinal over an hour and 20 minutes. That was Malik Stewart coming in. And he gave Chattanooga FC some real problems. Of course, this, at least at this stage, is not the kind of game in which they are going to have to go and chase. They just have to keep the Stars out. Lee lost his footing.
Yeah, really, it's about keeping the ball in front of you if you're Florida City Union right now, and staying high enough to not allow the Stars to switch the ball early on their back line or from Makruva, but also not being so high that they get immediately, pass by and eliminated from defending. Take some risks defending forward, but more than anything else, just harassment and defend as a block. Don't get eliminated in the defensive block.
Good ball out from Umeda. Pernica just ran away from Bowie. Shaibu now. Flower City Union trying to keep their shape and get numbers back behind the ball. Good run. Bowie tried to pull it back for Marich. Might have a second chance to do so. Pernica darting wide. Bowie is maybe starting to cramp. Pernica turning, put that off of Kavanaugh, corner. Frankly, I'm surprised Anthony Bowie doesn't cramp more often, given how active he is. The stands rumbling below us here at Romeo High School.
I think they've been equal opportunity, though. You've heard them kind of rumbling for both teams' corner kicks.
I think you may be right.
Which is great to see. That means there's just people here, soccer fans, not just the fans for either squad.
Umeda's ball. Headed out, tracked down by Jacob Campbell. We'll keep going forward. Pernica able to thread the needle for Baranovsky. Mejia goes airborne to make the catch.
Just a little bit higher from Baranovsky, and Marich is redirecting that into the goal.
Now into the 70th minute. That means you can scan that QR code now and vote for your Question Pro Player of the Match. We'll announce the player with the most votes in the 85th minute. I have a feeling I know who the Flower City Union side of things will be voting for. The goal scorer, Matt Bolduc. But can Michigan Stars change that? Here's Baranovsky forward. Took a deflection into the path of Thomas Pernica. Dragging down the line away from Logan Lee. There's the cross. Headed away by Kavanaugh. Just ran away from Campbell there. Hogben. Good space for Shalbot. Nice turn, still with plenty of pace. There's the cross, back post. Nobody there. Will drop to Bowie, however. There at the edge of the 18. He'll serve it back in. Didn't quite drop for Umeda. Flower City Union can clear. And not just hammering upfield either. Now they do. Bolduc into space. He's already got one. Diakate open edge of the 18. Bolduc cutting in, looking for space to shoot. Fires it in and wide. That would have put it to bed, and it wasn't too far away.
Yeah, Diakate was right away open up space. Bolduc gets in behind it. That's a 2v1 for a good amount of time. And as the Stars start to recover, very difficult to readjust. And that opened up another shooting lane.
And by the way, as of right now, the who will win vote 2-1 in favor of Flower City Union, 66.6% to 33 1/3 for Michigan Stars, the defending champions. Trying to find a breakthrough. Here comes Leon Marich. Low cross behind for a corner. Came off of Kyle Nelson. So you would think Michigan Stars will see a lot of the ball in the final 18 minutes plus stoppage time, but can they do anything meaningful with it?
Well, and you just saw how Florida City Union broke out that last time. Can they stop a breakout like that from happening again?
Umeda's corner. Over Marich to Thomas Pernica. Couldn't beat Diakate. Stood his ground well. Still plenty of life in those legs. Makruva way off his line. Playing free safety in the end. That would have been last night here at Romeo High School.
I mean, that sweeper keeper mentality is probably playing to the advantage of the mentality of Tatenda Makruva, but obviously it's not quite to the advantage of the Stars chasing a game. But he is quite adept at getting up off his line like that. But that's those turnovers that, yeah, you may survive it, but you lost an opportunity to go forward.
Marich, good flick. Umeda having to try and turn the corner himself to maybe get a cross in. Not getting a lot of assistance. It's all kind of static on this near side of the field for the Stars. Crosses hit deep. Away by FCU to Shaibu. All the way back to Makruva. I say all the way back. He's up at the 35-yard line.
Well, that is the farthest, I guess, a Stars player is, so that is all the way from that side of things.
They keep the throw in into the 75th minute. Ooh, here's Hunter Olsen. Olsen, angle was closed down by Nelson for a corner. Just ghosted in past everyone. Hunter Olsen, who scored 7 goals this year and assisted on 2 more. Who made his corner? Away by Elias. Campbell. Oof. I think for a second, Michigan Stars fans thought that may have dropped in. I mean, he is not the tallest goalkeeper, remember, at 5'11", though very athletic.
You see the replay, whipping back out. A redirect quick. Not far off.
Pernica brought it down. Tried to thread that with the outside of his boot. Through for Olsen. Charges down Elias, concedes the throw in. Campbell goes down, wins a free kick. Get the sense it's going to take something really, really special to unlock this Flower City Union defense. They've been so organized. Marich, nice try with the flick on. Couldn't play that into the path of Anthony Bowie. It's Elias for Kavanaugh. Rather, Lee for Kavanaugh. Diakate. Campbell's defensive header. Here's Olsen. Unable to link up with Marich, out for a throw. First change of the game for Flower City Union. And this will be Malik Stewart coming on for Luke Ferreira. Stewart, who's got plenty of pace, will be another outlet as they try and get the ball up the field and away from the dangerous Stars attackers. Still waving the flag of Michigan Stars along the track that surrounds the pitch here at Barnabo Stadium and Romeo High School. Hogman, the long ball for Shalbot, who's in acres of space. Trying to turn against Kavanaugh to get the cross in. Left back recovered well. Dangerous ball in, headed behind for a corner.
I think watching this, it's going to be 2 different parts. It's going to be obviously the try in the corner from Michigan Stars, but also if it's defended well, where does that outlet go? And do they cover Malik Stewart? As he took off, as in the past, the last couple corners have been difficult. I think there's going to be a warding of a card for a coach, maybe, which is very. Oh, that's going to be yellow and a red to Ferrara. Maybe?
Well, that has to be Ferreira.
Yeah, it's got to be Ferreira.
And I don't know what on earth that could possibly be for, but he's been sent off from the bench.
I mean, he was well behind the bench when it was awarded, we'll say. So it must have been something prior.
Well, Alex Hofstetter, the referee, made a beeline over for the scores table between the 2 benches. I wonder if he was called over by the 4th official.
And they do have headsets on, so it could have been just over his headset calling for him to eject him.
Now the corner's taken, knocked down. Campbell too high. Shalbad couldn't keep it in. Goal kick. Ferreira will continue his trudge back to the locker rooms.
But when the excitement of the red card happened to a player not on the field, so that only means he's got move away from the match. But I was talking about the last couple times on quarter kicks, the outlets for Flower City Union have been very dangerous. And you add in the pace of Malik Stewart and then also being fresh, how they get out with him is definitely something that the Stars are going to have to be very, very careful of.
Shelbot shaking loose. Jacob Campbell played that to the feet of Leon Marich. Being asked to get up by the referee and cleared away. Well, we had talked in kind of a joking manner earlier about what the bar would be for a sending off in a final, and I guess it's saying something after you've been subbed off for a second yellow. Nice find. Pranika looking for Olsen. Calfo wins in the air.
Yeah, the official is actually very kind in not carding him when he was trying to get him to leave the field, already sitting on a yellow.
That's off of Diakate. Will gift Michigan Stars the throw in. 9 minutes plus stoppage time remaining. The defending champions to equalize. To this point, they just haven't been able to do enough against this stout Flower City Union team out of possession. Shelbut put that off of Cartagena. Cavanaugh mopping up. Quisele conceding the throw. Almost didn't even make it out of play. Long throw, another header won by Flower City Union. Bowie, dangerous cross. Calfo from his knees, heads behind. I think he is cramping up, struggling to get to his feet.
And of course, the art of time wasting right now, and you've got the official calling medical on. You have all the Flower City Union players waving off the official.
Well, if medical does have to come on, then Angelo Calfo will not be on the field to defend this corner. He will have to
Correct.
go off.
That's Quisele was even walking over, waving away medical staff. But you appreciate what the official's trying to do. He's trying to move this game along. And if every time someone does go down, they have to leave the field and their team plays short, it'll certainly stop how many times a player may go down for an insignificant issue. And now it's just important for both sides to keep their heads as he leaves the field so no one talks their way into the book as well.
Well, I was wondering, they took the wrong player off. It was Calfo, not Cartagena. And that's really smart from the Flower City Union point of view.
Smart.
Calfo significantly taller than Cartagena.
That is fantastic.
I have a lot of admiration for the attempt.
Oh, that is fantastic.
So now Kotaro Umeda can swing the corner in. We'll try it again. I'm not sure that was what he was trying to accomplish.
And Calfo now waved back on. Yeah, you're thinking the ball's going to swing away from the goal. You imagine they're not trying to go that near post. Or maybe they are, as it went there again.
Long throw in this time, which Bowie races over to take.
Bowie tries to take it from about 15 yards towards midfield, which is a more dangerous area.
Oh, that almost fell kindly for Leon Marich in front of goal. Pernica gets shoved over by Logan Lee. Free kick. Last 5 minutes may be an endless array of set pieces.
Yeah, surely, man. And Logan Lee probably has a right to be a little disappointed with that call right there. Didn't see much in it. And guys sitting on yellow cards like Diakate have got to be very careful about things like time wasting right now.
Campbell's ball in. Hogbin's header over the top.
You'll see players front a ball in a set piece. They need to kind of slowly drop back to make sure they don't draw attention in the ire of the center official. And now you start wondering what the little bit of a delay and getting that ball off there.
Hunter Olsen. Olsen will latch on. Blocked that as Quisele tried to send it away. Chance for a free cross maybe from Bowie. Not free for long. It was blocked well. Campbell sending it through. Trying desperately in the final minutes to equalize. Bowie. Oh, nice try on the spin from Umeda, but dealt with by Flower City Union. Campbell, bit of space. They'll allow that deep cross to come in. That's over everyone. And Mejia will watch it trickle behind for a goal kick. You start looking towards how much stoppage time there might be. 4 or 5 minutes perhaps. Michigan Stars will be praying for more.
I talked about in the open. Stoppage time does crazy things at this stadium. So you never know what may happen for either side with that extra time.
Couldn't make contact up there. Pernica over on the right for the moment. Campbell, well played to Olsen. Spreading it wide for Shalbut on the opposite flank. There's the cross, away by Quisele. Umeda. Couldn't keep it in play. So the man of the match voting brought to you by Question Pro has concluded, and I'll get to that in a moment. Michigan Stars do have a corner. Did take a touch along the way. Can they make this one count? 89th minute. Umeda's delivery. Dealt with by Flower City Union. Will be tracked down by Hunter Olsen. Back in, couldn't find Marich. Campbell got in the way, hooked clear by Union. We're going to go ahead and give it to Matt Bolduc, the goal scorer with 21% of the votes. Mitchell Brickman, who is not rostered and has barely played all season, got the most votes. So it's either a hanging Chad situation, if you're old enough to remember the 2000 election, or the Flower City Union fans back at the watch party are very, very clever, or possibly both.
Yeah.
I'll accept either response.
So there's an asterisk. Is that what you're saying? That's what you're saying.
Out comes Makruva. Bit of a collision with Diakate as he goes down on the track. He's grabbing at his left knee. He will hobble back to his goal mouth.
They're having a quick conversation about something they saw there, whether it was they keep touching the arm, like maybe a handling call they're trying to call. But I don't think they're having anything to do with that. It looked like both guys going for the ball, no ill will. Both popped up right away afterwards, and they got straight up, not up and into each other.
We played the full 90, and it's 5 minutes of stoppage time. Matt Bolduc will be booked for that.
Yeah, the assumption there by the officials that it's a tactical foul, whether it was or not. Not surprised to see a yellow card served for that.
We headed that on. Ooh, there, Marich on the turn. Oh, that was maybe the chance. And it did not take a touch along the way. Goal kick for Flower City Union. Michigan Stars may not get another one.
Yeah, depending on how much stoppage time comes his way. I mean, ooh. A couple of balls bounced around. The original kick was just a little bit short to go direct, but redirected really well on the fly and snuck through the center back line of Flower City Union.
Stars will get a free kick. There's another booking, this time to Cartagena.
It looks like a foul just inside the touchline, about 50 yards out. Tenda Makruva coming up to take it.
Yeah, no reason for him to stay back.
Imagine a little bit deeper delivery this time, probably just inside the 18, about the penalty spot.
It's headed on by Baranovsky, but right at Mejia, and nobody making a run. He will smother at the near post. He'll try and release this upfield for Malik Stewart, who was open for a bit. Off of whom? Flower City Union's throw in. 2.5 minutes away from the most unlikely of league championships.
Now, this is a very American sports thing to go through and come from this deep and not even be in the run of any sort of a regular season championship. Very American soccer-esque. But you get into playoffs and you've got to all have a chance in the second season.
And they will not do anything too quickly. Stephen Elias and Flower City Union off of Diacate. Stars get the throw in, but very low on time. And they'll have to come from deep in their own half. Campbell goes back to Tenda Makruva. And out wide on the right is Ahmed Shaibu Jr. Anthony Bowie now. Has to pump it upfield. Baranovsky's up there, is next for center forward. Oh, it will find Hunter Olsen! Oh, he dragged it wide! He was offside anyway. Oh, goodness gracious me. Well, it was headed back his way by Kyle Nelson. Mejia, to his credit, took the angle away.
Yeah, if that's from Nelson, that can't be offside.
Oof.
I mean, either way, he missed it, but I mean, offside can't be part of the equation here.
Have to get it upfield as quickly as possible. Headed forward by Flower City Union, and again, Bolduc beaten to it by Campbell. Shaibu won that. Then Elias back the other way. Hogben hooks forward. Big bounce. Mejia comes, grabs, down he goes. That might be it. We'll see if any time is added on for the couple of fouls and throw-ins that we've seen in extra time. The referee looks at his watch, and that's it! From last in the table in 2022, their first professional season, to top of the mountain in 2023, an unlikely championship for the 6th seed Flower City Union. Matt Baldock, the hero, his goal in the 53rd minute stands up. And the celebration now at Strangebird back in Western New York can really well and truly begin.
Yeah, everyone at home that didn't make the trip, as you could perfectly understand, in the warmth, they're not quite as excited as the people here that are cold that got to witness this live and enjoying the most unlikely of tournament runs ending in a championship.
Well, if you tried to write this story in Hollywood, they would accuse you of over-embellishment. They would tell you there's no way that this is even remotely realistic. But Flower City Union, a goal differential of negative 44 last year, just 2 wins in 23 regular season matches. Jordan Sullivan has come in, a new coach, an almost entirely new playing staff, and they have turned this thing around. They opened the year. It took them a bit of time to gel. I remind you, just 1 win in their first 7 games. And Flower City Union, they beat the 3, 1, and 2 seeds in the playoffs. And they needed some assistance, remember, from Michigan Stars just to get in. Michigan Stars beat Club de Leon in their final 2 regular season matches. That ensured Flower City Union a trip to the postseason, the best trip they've ever been on. What a game Alioune Diakate had. He set up the winner for Matt Baldock. A really good performance from the big Senegalese forward. Made sure he would not be denied a NISA championship at Romeo High School for a 2nd year in a row. Remember, he was the 2nd leading scorer in the league last year, playing alongside Mayele Malongo for Albion San Diego. 9 goals this year, 2 in the quarterfinals to set the tone against LA Force as fans file out of Barnabo Stadium. Though everybody that I see in purple down there has stayed. And you see Noah Kavanaugh and Mombi Quisele coming over to celebrate at the fence with the fans that made the trip from Western New York. What a phenomenal story this is. Where would you write this? You just wouldn't. Flower City Union, and we talked with Commissioner Pruch at halftime. They've gone about it in the right way, building from last year to this year. They have done just an exceptional job as a club. Begun a fan ownership scheme that has raised significant money for them. Fan base continues to build, and of course the city of Rochester, New York has such great history in professional soccer. Rochester Raging Rhinos, a known quantity for so long in USL and beyond. Played some of their games outside of Rochester and Syracuse, having merged with Syracuse Pulse last year. 2nd straight championship for Stephen Elias, last year with the Michigan Stars. And this year he plays a major role in defeating his old team and delivering a championship to Western New York. Chris Black, by the way, has made his way down to the field, and we'll see if he can grab an interview with Jordan Sullivan and maybe Matt Baldock. And Coach Sullivan. And thanks to Commissioner Pruch, other duties as assigned. Trying to corral him. See if we can get him over to Chris Black. In the meantime, Matt Baldock is there with him. As the celebration goes on, I have a feeling some of these Flower City players and coaches and fans back in New York State can hardly believe what's happened. Here's Chris Black now standing by with the man of the moment, the man of the match, Matt Bolduc.
All right, obviously, man of the match means nothing to you compared to what you're going through right now, winning this championship. What an amazing run. Tell us a little about the season building up to this point to get to this point right now.
Nobody thought we were going to be here. We started the season 1-7. We turned it around. You know, the season has highs and lows, but we streaked at the right time, and we peaked in the playoffs. 3 away games in a row, 3 wins. I mean, I wish I was there. I don't know. I mean,
We'll get you. We'll get you. 4 goals 2 games ago. No goals last game. You still got through, and then you get the one today. Walk us through your goal today.
I think it's just, I mean, me and Ali, we just started playing striker together. You know, you got to combine when you're playing striker together. We counterattacked. I play him through. I followed the play. He beat his man. He found me, and the rest is history, I guess. You know, 1-0. So here we go.
All right, man of the match, Bearcat champion. Well done today. Congratulations.
Thank you, man. Appreciate you. Appreciate you guys.
Thank you, Chris, and thank you, Matt. There may be more from pitch side with Chris Black. We'll see if we can get Jordan Sullivan or maybe another player or two before we sign off. The trophy and medal presentations will be forthcoming. Something new this year, the NISA Championship runners-up will receive medals as well, and that will be announced momentarily. Oh, what a fabulous run by this Flower City Union team. That's why sports are just so enjoyable. You can come from being completely down but not out last year and struggling mightily in their first year as a club. Maybe mirroring NISA a little bit in some respects. Any brand new sporting endeavor, you have to go through growing pains in order to hit the heights that you want to and the stability that you want to. But Flower City Union, what they've done, absolutely extraordinary. I see Chris Black down there with Jordan Sullivan. Getting them set momentarily. And let's go to the field now. Chris Black and the victorious head coach, Jordan Sullivan.
Coach, obviously more a little bit of excitement right now. There's difficult times this season, but you guys rebuilt, you kept the faith. Tell us, like, for you, what was it like getting through that season, building this moment?
It just took time. I believed in the guys from the beginning of the season. They have ability. They are a great group of lads. They came through trials and tribulations. We fixed a couple of things. We got our team chemistry up, and we finished the season with a bang. So the guys are true professionals. I couldn't be happier or prouder as a coach right now for them. I'm really happy for them.
All right, different ways in the playoffs. 4-2, 0-0 winning penalties, 1-0 and hold on. Were you looking at the sun, trying to figure out, okay, the clock's wrong, maybe the sun's gone, how much time's left? How did it end up with you in the minutes here?
Yeah, it was definitely a nail-biting experience, but, you know, to come through and get the win, you know, we're over the moon. 3 games, playoffs is a different season. The guys were locked in. There were guys that didn't win the final last year, like Ali, they were hungry for it, so they all put a shift in today, and we nicked the goal. We defended really well, and hats off to Michigan.
Put some respect on his name. Put some respect on his name.
And, you know, it was really cool. Interaction from home, but maybe not total home, but from home in Rochester. Say something back to everyone at home cheering you guys on from the warmth of their house, more than likely, or an establishment.
Stay warm. Thank you for your continued support. We'll be back in Rochester soon for a party.
There it is. Another championship. Well done, man. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Chris, thank you. Oh, what a night indeed for Flower City Union. Matt Bolduc with the winning goal in the 53rd minute, set up by Alioune Diakate, just trickled over the line and beat Tatenda Makruva. But it holds up. They had such a good defensive game plan. They kept their shape so darn well. Leon Marich, the league's second leading scorer throughout the year with 14 goals, had very few meaningful touches, although he did create a really dangerous one for himself in stoppage time. So well played. And they won their 3 matches all pretty differently, really, in the postseason. The 2 goals in 7 minutes, was it, against LA Forest to win 4-2 in the quarterfinals, and then in the semis, outlasting Chattanooga on penalties after 2 hours of goalless soccer. I think presentation time looms down on the pitch. Chris will make his way back up to the booth, which means I don't have to just vamp for time until they tell me to go home. I'm sure he'll have his thoughts as well on this NISA Championship Saturday. Has to feel especially good for the likes of Stephen Elias and Kyle Nelson, who now have won back-to-back NISA titles. Noah Cavanaugh was briefly with Michigan Stars last year and has really flourished out in Rochester.
Flower City Union with their championship medals. First off, head coach Jordan Sullivan.
Jordan Sullivan will receive his championship medal. We said it earlier, he's a really busy guy, as so many people that work in soccer are. He's called this a dream of his, to take a men's professional club and lead them to a championship, while also serving as a Division III college men's assistant coach at Nazareth University and coaching some youth teams as well. If you are going to devote your life to the game of soccer, then you have to really, really love it, and you have to do so very much. Chris Black has the headset back on. I'll stall for a few more seconds so he can get his breath back.
I was going to say, that's my heavy breathing.
You're more fit than I am. But I was talking, Jordan Sullivan is the great story that while coaching this professional team, also assisting a college team and taking a couple of youth teams as well. You know this well because you too have devoted your life to the game of soccer, albeit mostly in a different way on the sales and equipment side. You have to really love it. And what he's accomplished with this team is just extraordinary.
Well, I was coaching 2013 girls this morning in an Olympic development program.
Case in point.
Prior to this, but yeah, we're on. And I met other Jordan. Other Jordan was great too down there, and she was very impressed with your pregame prep, naming her out as other Jordan. I told her she's not really other Jordan, but she was quite lovely down there. But yeah, it's a passion, right? Day in, day out, and you can take what you learn and know from one and put it into the other column as well.
Noah Cavanaugh and Luke Ferreira getting their medals as the entire squad's names are announced. And John Prutch, the commissioner, handing them out. And Ferreira getting the medal despite being sent off from the bench in the 80th minute.
I was wondering about that. Maybe a special exemption to be able to come back out.
How impressed were you with Aliun Diakate tonight? It did feel like after last year when Michigan Stars had him under lock and key in the final, and the second leading scorer for the season in the league wasn't able to do a whole heck of a lot. He was superb tonight, leading from the front.
Yeah, and part of it, too, is of being a pest out of possession. Your team doesn't have possession. What can you do to create problems? What can you do to create mismatches as a team's trying to build out? I was concerned with this early yellow card, thinking, okay, what's he still able to do? But it was all game long. Obviously, he figures in the goal as well with his runs, but it's what can you do when not in possession to put your foot on the game. And I think he certainly did that, and that's what's so bizarre. An attacking player really helping in a defensive role, but I think he did create opportunities just by that and also slowed the attack down for the Michigan Stars.
Monique Waselli waiting to hoist the trophy aloft. The Flower City Union captain. At the end of what's really been an incredible season, Chattanooga FC really dominant throughout the regular season for the second year in a row, tripped up in the semifinals each year. Well, the eventual champions, last year Michigan Stars, this year Flower City Union. They go the last 210 minutes of their season without conceding a goal against two very good attacking teams.
Well, and that was kind of my point in talking to Coach Sullivan. I mean, a 4-2 win, a win in PKs, and a 1-0 win that you hold on to. I mean, that's impressive. That is difficult, holding on to a lead like that under pressure. They had an onslaught from Michigan Star's side, but in the end, it wasn't enough to come back from, and they can hold on to that 1-0 win.
The moment that fans in Western New York have been longing to see. There they are, your NISA champions, Flower City Union. Who would have thought at this time last year we'd be saying that?
You imagine, you always hear trust the process, which generally you hear people say trust the process. Oh, yeah, okay, whatever. But in this case, no one used that term with me, but in the interviews after the game, both the guys knew, hey, they're up against it for a long time. They battled, believed in themselves, and a lot of turnover of roster as well, and they got to that point. Obviously, they're playing great soccer at the right time. You look at some of the great pickups. Stephen Elias right there. What a great pickup is this for this team he was. Kyle Nelson, same thing. Great players being brought in. They make a difference.
And Diakate and Bolduc, who is a veteran of the lower leagues of American soccer. We mentioned the 6 years with Richmond Kickers, now in USL League One, to score the winner in the final. I know I keep saying this, but what a story. And so often with the Cinderella story, eventually the carriage turns back into a pumpkin. That hasn't happened with this group.
Yeah, it certainly hasn't yet, so it'll be interesting how they take it into the next season. But obviously for now, they get to celebrate. I mean, I did want to ask, so what's tomorrow look like? You can go for a run in the morning. What's the fitness routine? But I let that go. I think Matt Bolduc has achieved enough to not get asked that question at this point. He can do whatever he wants tomorrow.
Aliun Diakate posing with the trophy. It's got to feel so good for him, having lost in the final last year. Well, that's another always interesting NISA season then in the books, and roll on 2024. It'll be so interesting next year. We heard from Commissioner Pruch at halftime, going to a two-conference setup. The East Coast, the Eastern Conference and the Western Conference will cut down significantly on travel, and hopefully will continue to stabilize this league.
Yeah, you think financially have implications as well as performance. I mean, if you can keep the guys closer to home, that can help their fitness training, their regimen on a regular basis, and then less performance-type injuries like cramping and things like that. Anyways, that might come up. So you hope it'll keep this league kind of building, but also the performance on the field getting better and better. And then obviously the ownerships and front office seeing, hey, our investment can pay off into our soccer teams because we can actually do it on a little bit less of a donation to travel expenses over and over again and put it back into our team and building with our fans.
The party, I'm sure, in Western New York will last long into the night. Flower City Union, the number 6 seed. Don't call it an upset. They beat the top 3 seeds in the NISA playoffs back to back to back to win the 2023 NISA Championship Final. For Chris Black and all of our crew, this is Mason Lowry saying so long. What an honor it's been to bring this thrilling championship match to you folks all around the world on FIFA Plus. Bye-bye.